All right, Shalom. Call and la Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakodash. Up honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that run to teach well. Most peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that are pushing this word in truth to sincerity of heart. Shalom. This is the brother Batak back again through the spirit with another lesson, and Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. Um, as you can see, the title is Chat GPT. What does Great Millstone teach about UFOs/UAPs? I might check Chat GPT off of that. Let's see. So, just wanted to see what the chat was going to say. So let's get into it. It says Great Millstone isn't a widely recognized or authoritative source in UFO UAP research. So you say. So its teachings heavily depend on specific context you're referring to. In most cases, people mean Great Millstone, a group within the Hebrew Israelite movement that produces online teachings. It says what Great Millstone teaches about UFOs/UAPs. GMS has a very distinct interpretation that differs from mainstream science, pseudoscience. UFOs are not extraterrestrial spacecraft. They reject the idea of aliens from other planets because it's nothing but a bunch of bullshit that Esau made, with his deception. They identify UFOs as divine or angelic vehicles. That's exactly how the scriptures describe them. Often described as chariots of God, vehicles used by angels. See? So this is very true. When you go to the Hebrew word for chariot, it's Hebrew. Strong's H7394, Rachab, Rachab, which means, hold on. Wait. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is the wrong word. Oh, hey, okay, here you go. I'm not sure where that came from. Rakab. This is the Hebrew word for chariot. It's Strong's H 7393, which means chariot. It's no matter riders, chariot, riders. It says a vehicle. Wagon. So basically, the Hebrew word means it's talking about a vehicle, something that you ride in or ride upon. So that's where the chariot is. It's literally a vehicle, you know. But it's driven by the angels, as the Chat GPT clearly tells you. It says biblical connection. They link UFO sightings to passages in the Bible, especially visions like the wheel within a wheel in Ezekiel, heavenly chariots in prophetic text. Because what text? This is true. That's exactly what. That's exactly what a UFO is. It's a wheel within a wheel. A UFO or the chariots of Israel. Um, End times belief. UFOs/UAPs are seen as a part of signs of the last days. Yep, it's true. Signs of the last days, instruments of divine judgment or salvation. In this case, both, because when the Lord comes, he returns, he's going to bring salvation to the elect, and he's bringing destruction to Esau. Because the so-called UFOs, they actually shoot laser beams of fire. It says association with Yahweh's return. They often teach that Yahushua Hamashiach will return with these chariots, not in a purely symbolic sense, but as literal vehicles seen as UFOs. In the scriptures clearly tell you this. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. in verse 9. Acts chapter 1 and 9. This is the NLT. It says, after saying this, he was taken up into a cloud. The word cloud is it's just a metaphor describing the UFOs, because the technology, that terminology, the term UFOs wasn't created yet. So literally, the all throughout the scriptures, the so-called UFOs are described using words like cloud, wheel within a wheel, um, or a chariot of fire, um, cloud. I already said cloud. Just these different words that actually represent the chariots, you know, or so-called UFOs, which is nothing but a vehicle that the angels and the Lord Himself is going to be riding in. It says, after seeing this, he was taken up into a cloud, which is nothing but a metaphor for a UFO. What? What metaphor? Let me see what the chat says real quick. Let's see. So I wanted to see what metaphors could be used to describe UFOs. I wanted to see. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm a little sleepy. Let's see, motherships, hovering lights, fast walker. Just wanted to see what it says. Let me rephrase the question. As you can see, I typed in, could a cloud, would a cloud be a good metaphor for a UFO? It says yes, a cloud, specifically a lenticular cloud, is an excellent scientific recognized metaphor and visual match for a UFO. These smooth lens shape or saucer shaped clouds form over mountains and are frequently mistaken for hovering, dish-shaped, or cloaked alien vehicles due to their structured, stationary, and often surreal appearance. 'Cause sometimes, so-called UFOs, they can also cloak themselves within the clouds, man. It look like it's an actual cloud, but it's really a chariot, but it's just cloaked. Can't see it. So that's another example. So let's go back to Acts chapter 1, verse 9. After saying this, he was taken up into a cloud, a so-called UFO, while they were watching, and they could no longer see him because he went up into the vehicle. It's a vehicle. As they were strained to see him rising into heaven, two white-robed men suddenly stood among them. Men of Galilee, they said, why are you standing here staring into heaven? Yahushua has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go. So the same way our Lord Yahushua left, it's the same way it's going to return, which backs up what the chat says right here. They often teach that Yahushua HaMashiach, the scripture says he's coming with the clouds of heaven. You think he's just coming on a nimbus? No. This thing that we're going into, the Israelite, the so-called UFOs is a secret, man. This is a secret that's being revealed by the mouth of babes. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30, it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. How is the Son of Man, who is Yahushua? What is that sign? Those chariots, man, the UFOs. It says, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. See, they're gonna see Yahushua return. They're gonna actually see it. They're gonna see the chariots. They're gonna see the so-called UFOs. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Let me ask the chat what. I'm gonna do it on my phone. What is Matthew 24 and 30 talking about? This is Mark 14 and 62. It says, I, and Yahushua said, I am, and ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. What they showed you in the movie Independence Day 4. That's an example of Yahushua returning with the clouds of heaven. So oh, sorry, I'm sleepy, man. I'm tired. All right. ChatGPT said Matthew chapter 24, verse 30 is part of Yahushua's Olivet discourse, where he describes future events leading up to his return. He says, what is it talking about? The Son of Man. This is often understood as a visible, unmistakable sign that Yahushua HaMashiach is returning. Some interpretations say that the sign is his appearance. Others think it's something that announces him. Verse number 2 says, all the tribes of the earth will mourn. This suggests a global reaction. People mourn either out of fear/judgment, realizing they rejected him, or out of awe and repentance. Nope, it's not that one. Yahushua is going to put fear in the minds of these people that are not expecting his return. It emphasizes that this is not a hidden event. It affects the whole world. Number 3, it says coming on the clouds. This is coming on the clouds with power and great glory. Now, this is one I really wanted to see. It says clouds in the Bible often symbolize divine presence, heavenly authority. This imagery connects back to Daniel 7 and 13, where a son of man comes with the clouds and is given dominion. So one thing, see, the chat doesn't mention anything about the UFOs because we understand that this is a secret. The scripture says he revealed this secret unto his servants, the prophets. So Esau don't understand the concept of the UFOs. Let me see. But he knows these vehicles are real. He knows that those are the angels, but he is not going to admit it. Amos. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. See? So this is a secret that's been revealed unto the men of the Lord. That's why the whole world looks at us like we're crazy. But guess what? Who's really gonna be crazy when they see it? These people. This is how this compares to mainstream views, scientific / government's perspective. UAPs are unexplained aerial phenomenon, possibly advanced technology, censored artifacts, or unknown natural phenomena. No, no. It's not a phenomenon. It's a presence, the presence of the Lord. Popular culture, often associated with extraterrestrial life, entire GMS view, entirely spiritual and rooted in biblical interpretation, and that's true. Great Millstone teaches that UFOs / AUAPs are supernatural biblical phenomenon, essentially angelic craft rather than alien technology. See, this interpretation is theological and not scientific. So there it is. That's what, you know, that's what we teach. That's what Great Millstone teaches. Yahweh Shai returning with the clouds of heaven. Because the word clouds is nothing but a metaphor or a dark saying describing the UFOs. Revelations chapter 1, verse 7, this is one of the first scriptures you're going to learn. Behold, he cometh with clouds. Those clouds are talking about UFOs. I'm trying to see what the chat gonna say. I wanted to see what the chat was going to say. I typed in, could God create vehicles like UFOs? Is it possible? It says, short answer, it depends on the belief system you're using, but within most religious frameworks, yes, it is considered possible. From religious perspective, in many traditions, especially within Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, God is understood as all powerful, omnipotent. Yeah, see? If that's true, then creating something like a vehicle that looks or behaves like a UFO wouldn't be a limitation. See, because the scriptures tell you that the Most High is all powerful. He's power. Yahweh Shai said himself that there's nothing impossible with him. Here it is. Luke 1 and 37. For with the Most High, nothing shall be impossible. See? So the Lord can do anything. He's all powerful, man. Keep that in mind. Going back to the chat GPT, it says sacred texts include sacred texts include unusual flying imagery. For example, visions in the book of Ezekiel describe complex moving structures in the sky. These are often interpreted symbolically, but some groups take them literal as heavenly craft or chariots. Yep, because it's true. It's not something that's symbolic. No, it was literal. Ezekiel literally said what he saw. 2 whirlwinds came out of the north. You think he was imagining that shit? See? Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. And look, and I looked, and beheld. That means he fastened his eyes upon something. A whirlwind came out of the north. The north is what? A direction. A great cloud. Wait, I'm pretty sure he sees clouds every day. Why would this be something that's exaggerated, if you will? So, because it's not talking about an actual cloud, it's talking about a chariot, a vehicle. It says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and brightness was about it. See, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. When have you ever seen a cloud that looks like this? When have you seen a cloud that looks like this, amber colored? I've never seen a cloud like that. Clouds are usually white, right? Yeah. So what is Ezekiel talking about? What is he seeing? It says out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. So he's seeing something in the sky, right? Yeah, he is. He's seeing a so-called UFO. Let's go back here. Close this tab. Go back to the chat. It says, so within that framework, yes, the Most High could create something resembling a UFO if he chose to. From a philosophical angle, if you define God as a being that created the universe and its laws, then any physical object, including advanced vehicles, would be within that within that power. The real question becomes not can God do it, but is there evidence that this is what UFOs are? And yes, evidence, because the scriptures tell you the vehicles of the Lord. From a specific scientific perspective, science doesn't address God's abilities directly. Instead, it focuses on observable evidence. Unidentified aerial phenomena are simply things we don't yet fully understand. There are no confirmed evidence linking them to divine origin, extraterrestrials, or anything specific yet. See, that's Esau's science. It's completely Esau doesn't have any knowledge, because if I'm not mistaken, science means knowledge. I could be wrong. I think so. I believe science means knowledge. Um, Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so are mine. So, you know, the so-called UFOs are the chariots of the Bible, and that secret has been revealed unto the servants of the Lord, the prophets, and we're living in a time where those vehicles are going to bring salvation to the nation of Israel, and it's going to bring destruction to the enemies of Israel. We can close it out with the book of Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. And then I lifted up mine eye, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. What is a flying roll? What is that? What's a flying roll? It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the whole over face. This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stilleth shall be cut off as on this side, according to it, and everyone that sweareth falsely shall be cut off as on that side, according to it. So these vehicles are nothing but there are cursed to Esau, and they're gonna literally consume this place. The Hebrew word for a curse is Allah, Allah, which means an oath, the covenant, curse from the Most High, from men, excretion, curse, cursing, oath, swearing. Let me see, is that all? Yeah, that's it. Let me see, Strong's. This is the root word. Something different. Usually in a bad sense, because that's what these UFOs are going to be for Esau. They're technically a curse to him. The most High has promised that he's going to do this. He's going to bring it forth. You know, this is the curse that goes forth with the whole face of the whole earth. See, for everyone that stilleth shall be cut off as on that side, according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as that side, according to it. And I will bring it forth, said Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter the house of the thief, which is America, because this land was ultimately stolen, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and with the stones thereof. The NLT says, and this is what the Lord, Yahweh of heaven's army, says: I am sending this curse into the house of every thief and into the house of everyone who swear falsely using my name. And my curse will remain in the house and completely destroy it, even its timbers and stones. So the chariots are a curse to this place, and they're going to actually be used to destroy it. It's going to be, Yahweh said, I came to bring fire. I came to send fire on the earth. How is that going to happen? Because of the UFOs. They shoot concentrated laser beams of fire. And that's exactly what they're bringing. The Lord is bringing a sword. That's how the Lord is going to take out that's how the Lord is going to take out Esau, along that fire from the chariots, as well as the nuclear destruction. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Makakadash, to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Shalom.